What's going on, guys, and welcome back to LOI TV. In today's video, I'm joined by Liam, Tig, Socko, and Griff. Is that a full house? I think it is it?
It is indeed.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Happy days.
First of many.
Is that the first time ever? That we've
Right,
all
Jack
been?
O'Brien.
Yeah, I don't do these videos typically. I usually get called up for the big videos, you know what I mean? Like,
Big game player.
Today, we will be discussing the Ireland and Slovakia playoff game. We're going to be doing a predicted starting lineup. We're going to mix it up a little bit. We usually do our own lineups, but we're actually going to try and come together and agree on a starting lineup. Might not be easy. There might be some raging debates, so make sure to stay tuned. but I don't think there'll be too many debates about the goalkeeper position. I'll go to Sean O'Connor, who is a goalkeeper himself.
I think
trying to
he thinks he
yeah,
is.
Darren Randolph, 33 years of age now. #1 shirt for Ireland is his, and his, I suppose, for the next 2 or 3 campaigns, hopefully. Travers and Kelleher were included too, but yeah, no arguments there, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I presume.
I have to agree with you there. Yeah, Darren
there's a
Randolph got to be
say
#1.
hi.
That's a good start for me, anyway.
In terms of the back four, sorry. What's it?
Randolph's been solid for the last
Yeah.
couple of years. Can't really fault him. He hasn't done anything wrong, and our best at the moment. So stick with him. Obviously, Mark Travers and Kelleher coming through the ranks. So maybe in a few years they'd be pushing him, but for the time being, you have to stick with the experience.
Yeah, I think he's only played a couple of games. I think he played in the cup for West Ham and they lost to Everton there. But like his performances for Ireland have been standout. Like he's been so solid for us. Like as I said in a few videos, he's never really made a mistake. I don't think in an Irish shirt. Like, so yeah, I think it's Darren Randolph for the foreseeable anyway.
Yeah, the back four shouldn't be too many disagreements. I don't think either in terms of Doherty, Duffy, Egan, and Stevens. Would everyone be kind of going along those lines?
Same one, yeah.
Yeah, same one. Like, I think the only lad who you could maybe put in, give a bit of a word in would be Darragh O'Shea for West Brom. He's played very well, but at the end of the day, he's not going to replace Shane Duffy or Johnny.
And
Egan.
he had to make the squad first as well.
He also has been called up as well.
Listen, right, I'm going to head off now.
How is this guy?
For fuck's sake, like.
He should be in the squad. And he probably should be pushing for a start.
Should be, yeah. It's a strange one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
But then again, if you look at it from the under-21s perspective, they want to reach their first ever championship as well. So you kind of need him there as well at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's probably what he's thinking. He said he probably won't be starting.
If he's not going to play him anyway, then might as well leave him in the 21 squad. But
yeah, threaten down. Moving into the midfield, so we're going with a 4-3-3. So the 3 midfield, it's going to be 1 kind of sitting deeper, 2 in front of him, and then a front 2 wingers and a forward as well. So I'm just going to start off with my CDM. I'm going with James McCarthy.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I'm obviously a bit of a Palace fan myself. He's been unbelievable. Him and MacArthur in midfield, like they've known each other since they were in a team in Scotland together when they were young. Like, and then they went to Wigan, and they're back together now, and they're absolutely bossing it for Palace. Like McCarthy's I just love watching him. He's like a little terrier. Like he's such a nightmare to play against. Like he'll leave one in on you. I think he's just perfect for a game like this, really breaking up the play. He's actually decent on the ball as well. Like he's took him a while to get back from that injury, but yeah, I think he's definitely a shoe in to start. I think CDM.
Yeah.
Disagreements?
I think I'd be in agreement anyway. Like he just gives a pretty solid defensive mid. Like he's been playing well for Palace ever since his injury and stuff. So he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet for me anyway. Especially in that midfield, which is that'll probably be like the most that kind of most up for debate anyway. Out of the 5 of us, like we're 6 of us. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the only other real option for like a holding role might be Malumbi, but like he hasn't really been playing for Brighton. I think he played in the cup against Man United. He actually played decent, but I think the way McCarthy's been playing for Palace, I think it'd be very hard to leave him out.
Yeah,
it's really good to see McCarthy actually playing now and not really as injured.
Yeah, he's putting Milivojevic out of the team, he's the club captain. Do you know what I mean? So like he has been performing well. He hasn't really performed for Ireland in a long time. So hopefully he doesn't against Slovakia. But
yeah, he had a pretty poor game against Bulgaria. I think he was taken out of the squad for the Finland game a few days later. But he's probably our midfielder who probably played the most minutes, like in the last little while. I think he's played out most games for Palace, has he?
Yeah, since the start of the season, he's played like all 4 starting midfield. So
yeah, I think he'll start in the middle of the midfield three. I was going to go for Jack Byrne, but the fact that he wasn't included in the squad this time last month probably puts him a little bit down the pecking order. But with Harry Arter injured, if we need to bring Byrne on, it's a really, really good option to have on the bench. Obviously, Byrne's been in fantastic form for Rovers. Had a super performance against AC Milan, which was spoken of really highly by Kenny. So what did Kenny say? He's in the squad on merit. He deserves to be there. He's a very, very good player, and he's been scoring some unbelievable goals for Rovers. One against Dundalk, and his assist last weekend was sick. So he's in top form. So yeah, but I had McCarthy in the middle of the three as well.
You know what I thought, just touching on that assist, I thought that if he's playing in like a championship or something, the defender cuts that out. Like,
yeah, the defender did pour down the header, he just went straight over his head. Like,
yeah, so I think Jack Byrne, if he wants to
start
start
was
games,
an unbelievable pick out. Like, you
Yeah.
can't take too much away from it, but yeah, I think the defender probably should have headed it away.
Yeah, then again, you can only play what's put in front of you, and
Absolutely.
it's just the level he's at, I suppose. And if he goes over for League One or Championship, we'll see how he does over there.
I do think with what's at stake, there's not a chance he's going to risk him, like putting him into
No,
a game
yeah.
like that, like away in Slovakia, like playing against like proper talents, like Serie A talents and stuff like that. I don't think he's going to get a look in, but it's good to see him called up anyway. I'd actually would like to see him play.
Like, he does add a bit of creativity off the bench and stuff. It's a good option, like
Definitely,
especially
yeah.
with Ireland. Like we do sometimes lack a bit of creativity going forward, so he does offer that. Like, but I don't think he won't be risk starting, especially as he hasn't been in the last few squads. Like, so
Yeah.
He's
It's a bit
surprised.
strange that he wasn't put in the last camp for the Bulgaria or Finland game, really.
I think they had Rovers had some big games coming up around that time, and like he obviously would have had to miss them, and like he wasn't going to get a look in really. He probably wasn't going to start, so I think that's probably why he left him in.
But then,
Yeah.
like, like he's not going to get a look in against Slovakia then, is
I
he,
know,
really?
yeah, it's strange. Like maybe he might get a game in the Nations League after against Wales.
and the league is wrapped up for
League's
Rovers
pretty
at
much
this
wrapped
stage
up
as
now,
well.
yeah.
So yeah.
And it's a Euro playoff, like, and I think he only has 2 caps so far, and he's still only 23 or 4, I think. So
Yeah.
hopefully he's another 10, 12 years of international football ahead of him. But
Yeah.
it's a good situation to be in. Like,
I think if he is ever to crack into the starting lineup on a consistent basis, he needs to move to a different
Yeah.
club. But
Definitely.
in front
Sadly,
of
that's the way it is, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, in front of James McCarthy, then I've gone with Conor Hourihane just to his left and Jeff Hendrick just to the right of him.
yeah, it's exactly the same as I had. Both playing consistently enough in the Premier League. I know Horan doesn't play every game, and he usually doesn't play the full 90, but he's Premier League quality. And Hendrick, I mean, you can't argue with the fact he's starting every week for Newcastle. Like, I don't know how that much. Like, he plays on the right side of a 4-2-3-1 for Newcastle, which is strange because he just doesn't strike me as Premier League quality. But at the end of the day, he's playing every week. He scored a goal in his first game. He kind of has to start.
And if it's a predicted lineup, so like it's
It's
like,
probably
yeah,
what he
it's
is.
more-
What he is going to do. I don't know if I would do it myself, but
it just goes to show, like, sometimes a player at a club, through no one's fault, just circumstance, like, sometimes just doesn't work out. I think his recent Premier League form before the move to Newcastle probably wasn't the best, and I think it's been a while since a few lads mentioned probably the Wales game was the last time he really did it for Ireland. But yeah, starting every game so far for Newcastle. I had him on the right side of the 3 as well. Got a goal and an assist in his first game. I think they beat West Ham 2-0 or 2-1. So yeah, and obviously he's the experience under his belt, which is huge in a game like this.
Yeah, I'd said the same as well. I said he'd like Hendrick and Hourihane. I wanted to say as well, like, he probably wouldn't be in my starting 11, but I did think when Malumbi played against Finland, he played very well. He's like, he was all over for 90 minutes. He's up and down the pitch. I think just having a box-to-box midfielder, and it's like just keeping the energy up for the full 90 minutes is just really valued, especially in the team that we have. So I don't think he's going to start, just based on the fact that he hasn't been playing much for Brighton. But he does offer like a really good option. Like, I'd probably put him ahead of the team ahead of Jack Byrne. Like if I was bringing on someone else, obviously depends on the situation, but I think he's been like, every time I've seen him play, he's just been just unreal, just his work rate and like everything about him really. So I do think he's a big talent really to watch out for. Like,
Yeah, I definitely agree with Griff. Like, even seeing him in Tala Stadium against Italy with Griff, the guy's a sicko, and he's definitely one for the future, which is good to see the likes of him, Parrott, and all them coming through. But for this game, I can't really see him involved, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a funny situation. We have to kind of put all that aside to a certain extent just for this this game, and hopefully a final in November.
I think it's Finland. Is Robbie Brady, which I mean he hasn't played at all. I don't think for Burnley, but I can't see him starting. Could see him featuring off the bench, like we're looking for a bit of quality, maybe a set piece or something. I know HOURIHANE's not bad himself, but I could see Robbie Brady coming on, but I just don't think he'll start.
Yeah, it's the equalising goal. He took the corner. It was a good ball into the box, wasn't it, for Duffy? So, definitely, there's probably a case to be made for Robbie Brady, but I don't think he.
I don't think he'll start just because of the lack of games. Like I don't think he'll start.
It's more of someone you have to carry through the game and then hope he does something on set piece, isn't he? So
yeah, he's still an injury doubt. That's not confirmed yet if he's fit. So I said that'll be tomorrow. They'll probably speak more about that.
In terms of the front three, then, we'll just name each one we've got and then try and agree on a front three. Then I've gone with Callum Robinson on the right. 2 great goals against Chelsea recently and been doing okay for West Brom this season. I've gone for McGoldrick through the middle. He's got a fantastic goal against Arsenal at the weekend and has played a lot of games for Sheffield United last season and this season as well. So I think he should start up top. I don't think Shane Long has played it all this season yet. No. And then off to the left, I had a bit of a debate in my own head actually about this one, because I was thinking Aaron Connolly, counter attack, bit of pace, but then James McClean, just a big game player. It's a tough one for me.
You think are you going with James McClean?
I think I'd go with James McClean. Yeah,
I said Aaron Connolly. I said the exact same as you, apart from I put Aaron Connolly. Like,
it's tough. I wasn't sure, but I spent with the big experience and a big game player, like, because he popped up in big moments. James McClean, and he'll love this type of game. So. Whereas
it is his type of game, totally kind of made for him.
He'll chase everything down. Like we won't give him a minute or anything like that. So.
Yeah, and even if it's a 5% chance, he might nick it and get across in. Like he'll break his balls, run for the ball. Like I had Robinson on the right and did see in the middle as well. And I was on the fence about Connolly and McClean, probably the same as you. Might go with McClean for the experience and the run himself into the ground in a game like that, one-off tie. But he could go for Connolly in great form for Brighton. Watched him against Chelsea there a few weeks ago and he was fabulous. So yeah,
I went the same with Griff, with Connolly on the left. I just think like 3 of them starting in the Premier League. I know McGoldrick doesn't start every game, but when his goal against Arsenal was really good, especially because he's under pressure since they signed a new striker in Brewster. And he comes out with a goal like that in a game that was really tough. Like there wasn't a whole lot of chances, and if you have someone like that, it can make something out of nothing. I think it'll stand to us to be really important. I'm not sure how I feel about Connolly. I know he plays quite well for Brighton, but he's got that kind of selfishness. You saw it in that chance he had.
That's a good point.
In the first game against Bulgaria. I think that is good for striker. We're lacking that kind of clinical edge, and people just kind of take chances and stuff. So hopefully it'll help us. And Robinson, you can't argue with him. 2 goals against Chelsea, like whether it was defensive mistakes a bit, but he took them well, and scoring goals in the Premier League, we haven't seen that in a long time.
It's always Irish players scoring against Chelsea.
Yeah, McGoldrick did the same last season, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, Callum Robinson played very well. I mean, in comparison to how we played, like when we lost against Finland, when he came on, just adds a bit more spark, really, a bit more creativity up front. Like, so yeah, I think. Then McGoldrick, like, who else are you going to play really? Like, he's playing like week in, week out for Sheffield United. He's playing well. Like, and the way Sheffield play, it's the way that Ireland have played for years, really quite defensively. Maybe grab a goal here, and he's pressing. Like, he's real. Like, and he's like, he does that all the time in Sheffield. Like the goal he scored against Arsenal on the weekend, like, was out of nothing. Like,
what I like about McGoldrick is he always drops deep and looks for the ball. I think that'll help us if we have like fast wingers. Like sometimes you see McGoldrick and it looks like he's playing in 10. Like he drops so far for Sheffield, picks up the ball and plays it. Like considering we're not going to have like a kind of a cam playing like an attacking player, it'll help us. Because when you look at Robinson and Connolly, they both actually play up front, not on the wing for their clubs. Like
It's
so,
3 strikers,
yeah. So it's 3 strikers playing wing. So it would be good to have Conor McGoldrick dropping in, picking up the ball, maybe playing it out wide, and then getting back into the box.
Mm.
So I think it could work, and I'd be confident with this lineup.
I'm very surprised Sheffield United let Robinson go to West Brom. I just think that's a very strange move and everything. Like,
Yeah, because he was actually playing quite well for West Brom when he was on loan.
It was a straight swap for man Oliver Burke, I think. Is this a straight swap?
Yeah.
Because Oliver Burke wasn't doing it for Sheffield. I don't think he wasn't that good
for West Brom. Yeah.
West Brom even so. I don't know, a bit of a weird.
About McGoldrick there, you mentioned. I remember, I can't remember. I think it was the Finland game. I remember saying to myself, like, why is McGoldrick so far back? And he reminds me a lot of Giroud sometimes. Like, he can always pop up with a goal, but he does a lot of gets back and he does a lot of the build-up play, and like he'd put his foot in and make a few passes and try create something out of nothing, just like that game. That goal at the weekend versus Arsenal. So he's definitely not afraid. He's a bit of a workhorse. Like he's
Sorry, I was wondering, did you go with McLean on the left soccer, did you?
In the midfield or the forward line?
In the front three, did you go McLean on the left?
I was kind of on the fence. I suppose I'd go for McLean.
So if that's 2-2, the deciding vote's Lemos. What's your front three, Liam?
For me, it's obviously Robinson on the right, Didsey up top. And it depends if Connolly's fit or not, really, doesn't it? Like, had out training, like, you don't know.
Sat out one train session there, didn't he?
Sat out Monday.
Yeah.
Strange.
I think, given the circumstances and everything at stake, I think he's going to have to go with James McLean, personally.
Yeah, a noticeable exclusion is Ida, who actually started both games in the Nations League. But I think I was looking at like Norwich's games. He's coming on kind of 60th minute and stuff, which like in the Championship isn't great. I know he got 1 goal off the bench, but definitely good feature. I'd say he will come on at some stage, like if we're in search of a goal or something like that. So
because Norwich have obviously Pookie, and they signed your man Jordan Hugel off West Ham as well. So they have strikers that they've kind of brought in. And
I think it's more when they're looking for a goal, he'll come on, like maybe last 30 or something like that.
That's like another reason I go with McLean on the left as well, is he will contribute more defensively than Aaron Connolly would. Yeah. And also Aaron Connolly as an impact sub would have more of an effect on the game from the bench than McLean would as well, I feel. So that's probably a 60-minute mark. If it's still 0-0 or something like that, I could see Connolly maybe coming on for McLean if it's the right kind of time in the game. And then having fresh legs, getting in behind, like similar to what he did against Georgia. That time he came off the bench. I know he scuffed the chance, I think, but he shows what he can kind of do from the bench. So
another one is O'Dowd. I think he started both games in the Nations League as well, which, I mean, I didn't really understand myself. Like I do think he's a good player. He's quality, and Kenny obviously really likes him. I think he said something in an interview. O'Dowd said like it's one of the best systems he's ever like played in. Kenny's attention to detail and stuff. Like he's speaking very highly of him. But like I think he was injured at the start of the season, and I think he was an unused sub there against Forest at the weekend. I can't see him starting if he's not playing for Bristol in the Championship.
His last, if I'm not wrong, his last game time was against Finland. Was that 4 or 5 weeks ago? It was an unused sub last weekend. It looks like he'll be fit. There was major doubts a few days ago, but the form Robinson's in, O'Dowd not playing a game for 5 weeks. It's clear Robinson will start.
So we agreed on 10 out of the 11 positions, and then there was a little bit of a debate about the last one. But to get 10 out of 11 isn't bad. So the team we've obviously agreed on is Randolph in goal, Doherty, Duffy, Egan, Stevens. Then in the midfield, we've got McCarthy, Hendrick, Hourihane, and then up front, Callum Robinson, David McGoldrick, and then James McLean only slightly outweighs Aaron Connolly in our votes. Guys, let us know what your starting 11 would be for the game against Slovakia down in the comments below. We will have a preview and predictions video coming tomorrow as well. So stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in a bit.